James and Edna Fenton looked an ordinary middle-aged couple as they walked across Battersea Bridge. They looked happy enough. Well, that's not strictly true. She did. Mrs. Fenton did. Happy with her lot, her friends, the order in her life. But a closer look at James Fenton's face betrayed an inner frustration, an inner violence to smash the fence that separated him from the life he led and the life he suddenly yearned for. Today he was going to change his life, and change it dramatically.
Edna, what I meant was we can't go beyond the houseboats. It's a dead end. And your heels, well, the heels of your shoes aren't right for a long trek round Battersea, are they? Now look, why don't you go home? It's me who needs the exercise, not you.
By the look of the sky, it's going to rain soon anyway. I think I will go back, if you don't mind, James.
Of course I don't mind. I'll be able to walk faster on my own. Keep in trim, eh? Oh, look, there's a taxi coming. Hang on.
Taxi! Taxi!
Don't be late home, will you, James? The Allisons are coming to dinner tonight.
Oh.
John and Marjorie are our best friends, remember?
38 Messiter Road, please. I'll see you later, Edna. They don't know. The people inside these houses, these little boxes, they don't know. They don't know that one gesture of mine at this minute can alter their lives. A knock on the door, and according to what I do, their whole future will be decided. Faces smashed in. Sudden murder. Theft. Fire. It's as simple as that. All right, then. Here I am, standing at the crossroads. Pick a street, pick a house, knock on the door, and take it from there, James. See what happens. Start now. Left or right? We'll turn right. Bolting Street. All right. B-O-U-L-T-N-G. 8 letters in all. We'll call it number 8. Here we are. Number 8. Shabby-looking house. Windows dirty. Child sitting in a grubby pram outside. The paint, what there is of it, blistered, faded. Oh, well, here goes. Up the path, James. Front door open. Bell out of order.
Hello? Anyone there? Hello?
What do you want?
Oh. I've come to strangle you. You and that snotty-nosed infant out there in the pram. I bear you no malice, madam. I'm simply an instrument of fate, sent for the purpose.
Well?
Do you let rooms?
Oh, the house isn't mine. The landlord let rooms once, but the place is going to be pulled down soon to make room for flats. He pays me a bit to caretake until they pull the house down. I live on the ground floor.
I see. I suppose you couldn't sublet one of the rooms in the basement to me?
What would you want the room for?
To murder you and that child, my dear. To dig up the floor and bury you under the boards.
Did you hear me? What do you want the room for?
Oh, well, it's a little difficult to explain. I'm a professional man. I have to do long hours. But there have been changes lately, and I must have a room where I can put in a few hours every day and be entirely alone.
Well, Well, I don't know what to say. I mean, it depends on what you want to do.
I'm sure if you showed me the room, I'd know at once if it was suitable.
Very well, then. Well, can't do any harm, I suppose. Follow me. This is the room.
Ah.
I don't suppose it'll do. Oh, smells a bit damp to me.
Oh, no, it'll do very well. And I see there's a garden.
If you can call it that. Doesn't get much sun. Faces north.
Yes. I like a room to face north.
You an artist?
Hmm?
They like the north light, don't they?
Oh, yes. I see you've guessed my secret. Part-time only, I'm afraid. I can only get away from the office for certain hours. My mornings are tied up with paperwork. But later in the day, I'm a free man. And then my real work begins.
It's not just a casual hobby, you understand. It's a passion. I intend to hold an exhibition later in the year.
Oh, I always thought that studios had to be high up for getting the light.
Oh, not necessarily. No. Anyway, those fads don't affect me. I suppose the room has electricity.
The switch is behind the door.
Oh, good. Yes. Well, I'd like to move in tomorrow, if that's all right.
Well, you haven't asked about...
What?
The cost of the room.
Oh, whatever you care to charge.
You could give me £5 a week if you think that's fair.
£5 is very fair.
Very well, Mr...
Sims. Marcus Sims.
And you'll bring your things in tomorrow?
Things?
Yes, what you need for your work, paints and things.
Oh, yes. Naturally. Well, then that's settled, Mrs...
Kaufman. Anna Kaufman.
Mrs. Kaufman.
To tell you the truth, Mr. Sims,
Mm-hmm.
I'm so pleased we've come to this arrangement.
Oh, so am I, Mrs. Kaufman.
No, you don't understand. If you hadn't had appeared today, I don't know what I would have done.
Oh, are you in some kind of trouble?
My husband left me last week without a penny. I tell you, Mr. Sims, if you hadn't come today...
Oh, no, Mrs. Kaufman. Don't upset yourself. Oh. I'll do my best to put an end to your troubles. You can rest assured. I'll do my very best.
James, is that you?
Oh, I fail to see who else it could be.
Where have you been?
Walking.
Oh, I know that, but look at the time.
I'm not all that
I
late.
suppose the Allisons had arrived early.
Have they then?
No.
No. Not in all these years have they arrived early. Or late.
You'd better go upstairs and change. I put your blue shirt out on the bed.
What's wrong with the one I have on?
They always change into something special when we go to them. It's the proper thing to do.
The proper thing to do.
What?
I am sick of always doing the proper thing.
After you, Mr. Sims. Go on.
What? Why, Mrs. Kaufman.
I've cleaned it out. Scrubbed the floor, wiped the paint. The dust must have been an inch thick.
Well...
I started after you left yesterday afternoon. I didn't finish till nearly midnight.
Oh, you shouldn't have it. It's not worth it for the time.
Oh, it's not for long, then?
I didn't mean that. I meant that I shall make a devil of a mess with the paints. You know.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah, well, I'd better go and bring my gear down.
What are you going to paint first, Mr. Sims? You have a subject in mind, I suppose?
Yes, I have a subject in mind.
I think I know. I've guessed.
What do you mean you've guessed?
It's Johnny, isn't it?
Well, you are a clever woman, Mrs. Kaufman. Yes, John is to be my subject.
I thought so. He'll be good. He won't move, even if I have to tie him down.
Oh, I don't think there'll be any need for that.
Do you want me to get him now?
What?
Johnny, shall I bring him down now so you can paint him?
No, I'm not ready yet.
Oh, it's nice to have someone to talk to. Do you know, Mr. Sims, until you came, I was absolutely alone. And this is not a good neighbourhood. Lots of empty houses. I haven't any friends. None at all. He went off without saying a word, my husband. 3 years we've been on the move. No settled job.
Well, you couldn't do that for long. Not with a child, could you?
Well, that's what I said. I mean, those were my exact words. You've got to get work, I said. We can't go on like this. There's no life for me or for your child. And Mr. Sims, there was no money for the rent. What was I to say to the landlord when he called? My husband was German, Mr. Sims. He was born in Germany.
Was he? Yeah.
There was always some fuss with the police.
Police?
With Rudy's papers. Oh, there's been a lot of trouble with his papers. You know what it's like. He had to register for work and...
Well, what's the matter?
It's odd. Yesterday I didn't know you. Today I'm telling you my life story. You'll be my friend, won't you?
Your sincere friend, Mrs. Kaufman.
Thank you, Mr. Sims. Thank you. Now, which would you prefer to do first? Come to bed or paint Johnny?
I beg your pardon?
Oh, you don't have to worry. No one's going to come. I can tie Johnny up.
Tie up Johnny? Look, Mrs. Kaufman, it's extremely kind of you. I do appreciate the offer. It's most generous, but, well, that sort of thing. I mean, when you're young, that sort of thing may be important, but I've reached the age when it doesn't matter anymore. All my efforts go into painting, you see. I concentrate entirely upon that. That's why I'm delighted at finding this little retreat. Now, Mrs. Kaufman, if we're to be friends...
Oh, that's all right, Mr. Sims. I thought perhaps you were lonely. I know what loneliness can be, you see. And you're so kind.
Now, I really must get on.
Can I watch? I've always wanted to see a real artist at work.
If there's one thing I can't bear, Mrs. Kaufman, it's being watched. I loathe being watched.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sims.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Kaufman.
Can I see the painting?
Yes, but it's not quite finished.
Do you really see me like that?
Why?
It's not as good as the one you did of Johnny.
Oh, what's the matter with it?
Well, it's just that you make my mouth look like a fish ready to swallow.
A fish? Utter nonsense. Trouble with you is that you're never satisfied. You're no different from any other woman.
I'm sorry, I really am. It's 7:15.
Oh, damn. I hate stopping like this. Especially when it's so light in the evenings. I could go on for another hour or more.
Oh, why don't you?
Well, my poor old mother would have a fit.
Oh, I wish you could bring her here to live.
Hmm?
It's so lonely when you go back in the evenings. Oh, I meant to tell you. There's a rumour that this house might not be pulled down after all. If it's true, you could take the flat on the ground floor and your mother would be welcome.
Oh, she'd never move now. She's over 80, very set in her ways. Besides, the whole point would be lost.
What point?
Never mind, Mrs. Kaufman. But one of these days, I'll hold an exhibition, and your face and Johnny's will be the talk of the town. But I'll prove it. Just you wait and see. You don't like it, do you?
I'm sorry, Mr. Sims, but a self-portrait is supposed to look like you, isn't it?
Oh!
Well, it gives me the creeps, frankly.
Yeah, it's a bit too advanced for your tastes, probably. Avant-garde. You may not realize it, Mrs. Kaufman, but this canvas is a work of art. Still, I'll have to do for the time being. I'm off for my holiday next week.
You going away, then?
Yes, we were going away 2 months ago, but I put it off till now. Taking my old mother up to Scotland. Why?
I haven't got anyone but you. I'll be here all alone.
Oh, I'll only be away for 3 weeks. My dear Mrs. Kaufman, I am not a permanency. I shall be moving, possibly this autumn. I need room to expand.
What are you saying?
That I'm going away for 3 weeks. Look, I'll bring 3 weeks' rent with me tomorrow morning so that you won't be without. Are you all right?
Yes.
Well, I'll finish off now. I'm sorry you don't like the portrait, but you're wrong. It's a good painting. A very good painting.
What is it?
It's me, Mrs. Kaufman. I see you didn't clean my studio after I left last night. Is anything the matter?
Go away.
Can I do anything?
I'm ill.
Oh, let me help you.
No.
You really ought to see a doctor. Of course, it's all a try-on. Didn't clean my brushes last night. No tea ready. Yes, she's trying it on. There's your money. Now, why don't you go out and spend some of it, Well, I'll just go and tidy up the studio and pack up the canvases. I'll look in before I go. Oh, it's all working out very nicely, James, old son. Very nicely. Mrs. Kaufman? I'm off now. Mrs. Kaufman, you look... You must see a doctor. You're so pale.
I'm all right. What do you want?
I've given Johnny some tea, and I've tidied up everything downstairs. I'm disposing of one or two canvases. They're not up to standard. Otherwise, it's all tidy.
Thank you. Would you take this with you when you go?
Yes, of course. What is it?
Just some rubbish I want to get rid of. It's wrapped in newspaper.
Yes, I can see. I feel rather bad leaving you in this state. Are you sure there's nothing else you want?
Yes.
I'll send you a card from Scotland.
It wasn't nice having you home early today, dear.
Well, I cleared up everything at the office in good time. Thought I'd take the opportunity of starting to plan the itinerary. I'm looking forward to this holiday.
Oh, good, James. Oh, who can that be?
I'll go.
No, dear. I finished my first course. I'll see who it is.
Well, don't let yourself be talked into giving anything to some ridiculous cause. I'm really going to enjoy this holiday. It'll be the first time. And you know why, don't you, James? Because there's so much to look forward to when you come home. So much to look forward to.
James?
Who is it?
It's the police.
Oh?
Good evening, sir.
Oh, what can we do for you?
I'd like to talk to you for a moment, sir, if I may.
Well, go ahead.
Did you happen to walk through Chelsea Hospital Gardens late this afternoon?
James?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I did.
And you were carrying a parcel?
I believe I was, yes.
And did you put the parcel in a litter basket by the embankment entrance, sir?
I did.
Would you object to telling me what was in the parcel?
I have no idea.
Perhaps if I put the question another way, sir, could you tell me where you obtained the parcel?
Well, frankly, officer, I don't see what it has to do with you. It's not an offence to put rubbish in a litter basket, is it?
Not ordinary rubbish, no, sir.
May I ask you a question? Do you know what's in that parcel?
Yes, sir, we do. One of our officers saw you from his patrol car. First he saw you throw some, well, what looked like rolls of cloth into the river.
Oh.
That is an offence, sir.
Yes, I thought it might be. I'm sorry.
And then you were observed putting this parcel into the litter basket.
Good God.
I don't understand, James.
What an extraordinary thing to do. I should have thought he would have been better employed doing his regular
It
job.
It happens to be his job to keep an eye on people who behave in a suspicious manner, sir.
There was nothing suspicious in my manner whatsoever. It just so happened that I was clearing up some odds and ends in my office this afternoon, and, well, I have to admit I did throw some rubbish in the river on my way home. And as it so happened, I noticed the police car. I thought it might be against the law, so I put the parcel in the litter basket instead. And that's all.
I see, sir. You've just stated that you didn't know what was in the parcel, and now you say it was a few odds and ends from the office. Which statement is true?
Answer their questions, James. Please.
I'd like to read you the report our sergeant made, if I may.
Go ahead.
Thank you. At 6:05 today, I was walking along the embankment when I noticed a man on the opposite pavement make as though to throw a parcel in the river. His manner was distinctly suspicious. He then crossed to the entrance to Chelsea Hospital Gardens and, after looking up and down in a furtive manner, dropped the parcel in the litter bin and hurried away. I went to the bin and retrieved the parcel and then followed the man to 14 Annesley Square, which he entered. I took the parcel to the station and handed it over to the officer on duty. We examined the parcel together. It contained the body of a premature newborn infant.
What?
What?
But it can't be.
God.
I shall have to ask you to come down to the station and make a statement.
It's been going on for 6 months. When I say going on, I mean my painting. Nothing else at all. I was seized with the desire to paint. I can't explain it, I never shall. It just came over me. And on impulse, I walked to the front door of number 8 Bolting Street. A woman answered, and I asked her if she had a room to let, and after a few moments she said she had. So I took possession. And I've been going there every afternoon for 6 months. I said nothing about it to my wife. I thought she'd understand.
Understand? Understand what? You've never told me you wanted to paint.
Well, Mr. Fenton?
Look, can't we go to Bolting Street now? That poor woman must be in great distress. Let's go there now. My wife, too. My canvases are there in the studio. Mrs. Kaufman will explain everything. Edna, what do you say?
Don't touch me, James.
All right, Mr. Fenton. We'll go to Bolton.
I can't believe it. Gassed. Both of them dead.
Sit down, Mrs. Fenton.
How do you think it's going to look, James? What do you think our friends will say?
Yeah, that's all you think of, isn't it?
Are these your pictures, Mr. Fenton? The ones you were telling us about?
Yes, I put them all together because they were the ones I'd chosen to exhibit.
Exhibit?
Well, it's proof, isn't it? You can see I was using this as a studio. Mrs. Kaufman had the rooms upstairs. Well, now that she's dead, well, I'll want to remove my paintings, and I'd like to return home with my wife now, Inspector. As you can see, she's upset.
I'm afraid I should like you to return to the station with me, sir.
But I don't understand. You can see my paintings.
Look at them. These so-called paintings. Just look at them.
But they're unconventional, I know that. They're not picture book stuff, but they're strong. They've got originality.
They're not proper paintings, are they? Look, Inspector, would you say they were proper paintings?
Well, I must confess...
Look, this is Mrs. Kaufman and Johnny. Mother and child. You've seen them. A true primitive. Back to our origins. That's how I saw it.
It's disgusting. They're not proper paintings, just daubs done anyhow. I told you he couldn't paint, Inspector. He's never painted in his life. It was just an alibi to get into this house with that woman.
Not proper paintings? Daubs? Oh, God. Dear God. An alibi, you call it? Is that what you really think? Inspector, she doesn't believe in me. My God. All right. I'll confess to everything. I was her lover, and the child was mine. I turned on the gas this evening before I left the house. I killed them all. I was going to kill my wife, too, when we got to Scotland. I want to confess. I did it. I did it. I did it. I did it. I did it.
Edna said nothing. The inspector said nothing but took James's arm and led him slowly from the room. Edna took a last look at the paintings and shuddered. Then slowly and systematically she tore the canvases to shreds and finally ran sobbing from the room to the police car outside. The car drove off, and 8 Bolting Street, like the other decaying houses, was empty and silent. Only the smell of gas remained. But that would soon escape.
This video was uploaded to the channel, Thinking Out Loud. Please like, comment and subscribe to the Thinking Out Loud channel. Thank you.